Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. My name's Connor Williams, and we're back with another one of our end of season player reviews. This time it is on none other than the number 9, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. As usual, we'll go through the stats. I'll tell you a little bit about him, in my opinion, and then we'll round it all up with his rating for the end of for the season. Calvert-Lewin, it is his like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like eighth season at Everton, I think it is now. He's played 38 games in the Premier League, which, by the way, sorry, he's played 38 games overall, 32 in the league, 33 in the FA Cup, 3 in the EFL, which, by the way, just to put that in retrospect, the season before that, the 2022-23, he played 18 games in all competitions. And the season before that, in the 2021-2022, he played 18. And then the season before that, which was the Ancelotti season, he played 39. So this is the next highest he's played since then, amount of games. To go from 18 to 38 just shows how well the medical staff and Sean Dyche and Calvert-Lewin himself have done to get him back to playing that regularly. That's really impressive, in my opinion. But yeah, just because I know obviously he struggles with his injuries, they are something that comes up. If you were wondering how many games he's played compared to the others, that is how many. His goals, we'll cover his goals in the League Cup. It was a right-footed goal against Aston Villa, which I can't remember from memory. Luckily, I've got it in front of me, how many goals he scored. In the league, we won't go through all of them because he's scored 8, but he has scored 8 in the league. 1 against Luton, 1 against Burnley, 1 against West Ham, 1 against Brentford, 1 in the Merseyside derby, of course, which is an absolutely fantastic goal, and another 1 against Luton when we played them and lost 2-1 at home. So yeah, it's been a good season of Calvert-Lewin in terms of getting him back playing regular football. He's got 7 goals in the Premier League, which is about 0.29 per game, with an XG of 12.93. So he should be on 12, closer to 12 goals. He is really underperforming in his XG. Calvert-Lewin's going to be an interesting one. There were rumours of his contract. His contract is up next summer, so there were rumours of Newcastle sniffing around. He either needs to sign or we need to sell. That needs to be made this summer, that decision. Sign or sell. Can't let him leave on a free. That would be a silly thing to do. I'm not going to lie to you. His expected goals, he should have more goals. He has been slightly wasteful, but it is. I think the problem is this season it was more about getting him back to playing regular football. His expected XG on target is 9, so yeah, he should be on 9 to 12 goals. Unfortunately for him, he's not. 2 assists, which again, he's not really that type of player to be getting assists. He's not your creative forward. Should be more your goal scorer. 14 successful dribbles, which is about a 35% successful dribble rate. Touches in the opposition's box, 130, which puts him quite high compared to the other Premier League attackers. 196 duels won, 141 of his aerial duels won as well, which is fantastic. That puts him very, very highly with the top 100, like the top 1% in the Premier League. I feel like his role in the Everton team has gone back to pre-Ancelotti a little bit, in terms of he's there to bring others into play like a deep line forward, and he'll run the channels a bit like he used to before Carlo Ancelotti came. This is the problem, though. He's missed 16 big chances this season. That's huge. I do think this season the main priority was getting him back to playing regular football. He's done that. If he signs a new contract and will be here next season, the aim needs to be to get him back to his best then, and get him amongst those goals. He's only got 1 headed goal in the Premier League this season, and I mean, what a goal. But for Calvert-Lewin, you'd expect more than that, to be honest. really. But yeah, it's a tough one. Um, it's a really tough one with Calvert-Lewin. He's an interesting footballer, to say the least. Obviously, the stats don't lie. He has been wasteful this season, sorry. But I don't think there is going to be a stat for it. Um, really, it's more what he does off the ball and how he's fits in our system that I think is why he's quite pivotal. Because when you watch him, he does run the channels, works hard, battles the defenders, keeps the ball to be involved in play up and the build up play. So you'll pass the ball off to people who will then run with the ball and go on from there. He's very, very, very good at aerial duels. He wins most of his aerial duels. His leaping is incredible. His jumping reach, fantastic. His passing could be a little bit better for someone who does hold up play. The balls tend to be, quite simple. But again, he's meant to be a finisher. His finishing has been a little bit, unfortunately, not very good. But like I said, he likes to play the short passes. He's an indirect set piece threat. He likes to do flick-ons and bring others into play. He can be quite good at receiving flick-ons as well, which we've seen in the past. High pressing forward as well. I think he's interesting because people will say still that he's not good enough, and his stats could be better for a forward in terms of goals, and that is what he's mainly in the team to do. But he does play a different role, which is to be involved in the build-up and contribute that way. He has also, as well, had a really tough 2 years. The fact he's playing football regularly is fantastic enough. You need to take things one step at a time. He hopefully will be here next season. I hope he is. We can get him back to scoring then. That can be the focus for that time, for that season. That could be his objective. But yeah, he's had a tough time. There's no doubt about that. He spoke about, mental health and stuff and how he's had to face his toughest challenges. But I also think for people who'd want to, see him leave the club, I think people don't really realize just how hard it is to fulfill that profile of a player. We have spent the last couple of times he's been injured, looking for the next Calvert-Lewin. While he's been injured, they're like, we've heard, gotta fill that Calvert-Lewin slot. We've got to fill that Calvert-Lewin slot, and we haven't in the 2 years, and to get rid of him, I think we'd have the same problem. And I don't know if I trust Everton to replace him, as they've had, the last 3 years to do it, and they haven't. He is quite a tough player to sort of replace. I think when looking at that type of player, and the stats for like headers won in that, the likes of that spring to mind are like Garassi, that Paul Anacho in Turkey, who I must admit didn't impress me when he played for Southampton. They're the ones that come up when you look at that FB ref at similar players to him, similar ilk. And I just think he'd be really hard to replace. Because I don't think you get many forwards like Calvert-Lewin anymore either, to be honest. In the world where there's the Darwin Núñez's and players like that drop into deep to let the wingers become forwards, there's Calvert-Lewin, there's Haaland. There's a few out there that are just, you'd want to be pure goal scorers. But there's not a lot anymore. It's the way football's going, and it's a shame. But yeah, I think he's just a player we need to hold on to for another season. As much as I like him and I am a big fan of him, though, if he's not going to be able to sign that new contract, we need to get him gone and get money for him. But yeah, in terms of his rating this season, I'm going to give Calvert-Lewin. He had a tough start. He's turned it round. I'm going to give him a 7.5. I think that's fair. I think a 7.5. I was tempted to give him an 8, but I think 7.5 is fairer. He's had a, he still has to be better at some things, but I'm trying not to let the fact that he's probably one of my favorite players at Everton at the minute, cloud my mind. So I'm going to give him a 7.5. Let me know your thoughts down below on it. Leave a comment, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, just let me know down below. Look forward to reading.